Okay, folks, so I just want to give you a quick rundown of the shop. I built this little bench here. I got some of my stuff for the tree work. Got this nice little launcher. A couple saws. This showed up today, this 044. I ordered this off of eBay, and I finally got it. I haven't really played with it. I just got home from work. It's probably a little after 11 o'clock. But I fired it up. She burps, so that's a good sign. This $3.95. I ended up having to get a carburetor. I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I cleaned it 5 times if I did it once, and for whatever reason, she didn't clean out. You know, that's why I tell guys, you know, this is what I suggest and what I do. Get yourself one of these little chip brushes here. And when you go to, you know, when you go to fill your gas tank, just brush all this crap out of here. Same thing for the oil. The less crap that you can get in here is the less chance of something getting sucked in there and causing problems. This looks like one of these slant fin jobbers. I have to run the numbers, but I'm pretty sure this might be a 12 millimeter slant fin. These 044s, you know, if you get the right cylinder, boy, I tell you what, they they really produce. They move. But what else we got here? I got the drill press here. I've got some books. I've got some transfer punches. These are nice to have. These bins. I use these for parts, and I just on the saw, I'll just lay them out. You know, put the parts here. The next stage, fill that up. Then when you go put it together, this goes and then this goes here, and then that's it. And then you don't lose everything. I got a gremlin in this shop. I don't know. You know, I'm working and I'm going to put it, and I'm missing nuts and bolts. Where the hell did they go? So by doing this, it seems to alleviate that problem. Now, I was talking about books and whatnot. Here's a decent book by Alexander Graham Bell. And here's another one by John Robinson. Now, a lot of guys are going to say, well, Fade, what's this got to do with the chainsaw? Well, there's some computer programs in here. If you know how to program in BASIC, and if you know how to take precise measurements, you know, basically like a port map of your cylinder, and you can do the math and input it, you can, you know, you can get it pretty close. But, you know, the port timing is the answer. The guy who can get the port timing for his RPM dead nuts, you know, you take 2 saws, road running between them, the guy that has the port timing dialed in and the other guy that's, well, maybe a little bit off, you're going to win every time. If you get it just right, and you can hear it. You can hear the sound of it. You just know it. I've also got some transfer punches here. Here's another book, Machinery's Handbook. It's got some very good information. This is my little grinder here that I use to sharpen chains. Now, it's not that sophisticated where she does both sides. Some of them, you know, they come up, they grind, and then the whole head will swivel. It'll do the other tooth, then it'll swivel. Now, you just can do one side, and then you got to adjust it. But you can also, with this, I have a thicker wheel. I don't know if this is showing up on camera here, how skinny this is, but it's not that thick of a wheel. I got a thicker wheel, and you can set it up at 0 degrees, and you can actually set it up so you can do all your rakers. Which, I'll tell you what, I've done it, and you got a hell of a smooth cutting chain because every raker is within, you know, a few tenths of a thousandths of the same size. And every tooth is ground to the same size. Okay. Back here, this is where I've got my cauldron of performance. Back in this room here. Here's another little bench that I built. We'll go over here. I just got some different tools that I use, measuring items. I got some drills here, some micrometers, depth gauge, calipers, 10th indicator, half thousandths indicator, you know, a couple mandrels back there, some tools. And this just came in the mail here. I ordered this from Grizzly, and this is what I need right here. These are made for aluminum. You know, you've got grooving tool, parting tool, threading, turning, everything, whatever you need. And these will work. And these inserts are made for doing aluminum, so you know you're going to be able to cut a lot of aluminum with them quick. Your feeds and speeds can go way up. This is what I was using. I got these from Harbor Freight too, but I was kind of disappointed. I mean, it's a brazed carbide, better than high speed steel, but I found all the rakes, the angles, you know, it's got a flat where you tighten down on, but the head, the geometry is way off. Now, you know, I put it in a vise and bent it and warmed it up and twisted it, and I got it to work, but it just was never a good setup from the get-go. And then over here, you know, I've got my little manual lathe. Right now I'm working on a intake adapter for 462. And this is nothing extravagant. This is just a little Grizzly lathe. But it does have the variable speed, which is nice. You don't have to play around with belts. So, you know, you just turn that little knob there and you get what you want. And I think this goes up to like 2,000 RPM, which is more than what I need. And then over here, I've got my banjo and my guitar. I'm not much of a banjo picker. A guitar player, I can pick halfway decent. I should be able to after how many years. But this little area right here where I have a little studio, this is going to go up in front. And I think what I'm going to do is I might just take the drill press on a stand over here and then just get a little small milling machine, you know, and that's going to allow me to pretty much between the lathe, the milling machine, drill press, it's going to allow me to pretty much make whatever I want. Now, this isn't by no means, you know, any kind of you know, production machine. You're not going to be able to take off heavy cuts. You know, we just made this stand up. I work with a guy. You know, it's on there. It's stable. It'll do it. You know, if you take light cuts, you can make whatever you want. What I'm saying is, though, if you want to come in here and take off 50 thousandths, 100 thousandths, well, you're not going to do it with this machine. I'll just tell you right now. So, and right now I have, for heat, I've got the wood burner in the front, but I'm probably about 40 feet away from the wood burner. So what I'm going to do is, once I clean all this up, and I get the press in there, the drill press over here on a stand, and I get the milling machine, we'll take the guitar studio and this, and we'll just go in the front room. What I'm going to do is another project here, which really doesn't have nothing to do with saws, but I built one before years ago. And basically, what you do is you flow water. So, right now I have 2 3-gallon tanks, stainless steel tanks, setting up in the air off the stove. You don't want to leave them on there. They'll sweat, they'll rust. Trust me, I found out the first year. I thought I ruined my stove, but I sanded it down, painted it, it's all right. But what you do is you either get you can get a radiator like this, you know, this style for water, or you can get like a cast iron radiator like they use in the school systems or whatnot, which is probably what I'm going to do. And the whole thing is, you get yourself a tank, you run some PEX, you have a heat exchanger on the stove, and you have an open system, and you get maybe I don't know, a Taco pump. There's a couple of them. So basically what happens is you're drawing out of a tank. It's going through the PEX up to the stove. The stove's heating the water, and it's coming back in a loop through the radiator and then back into the tank. And then the pump is drawn through. And if you can get that water, 150, 160, on the coldest day, it'll be nice and toasty in here where you can work. And the equipment stays warm too. That's another thing, you really don't want to come in here and play around when, it's 40 degrees because everything's going to shrink, or 90 degrees, everything's going to expand. But the only thing I want to say is if somebody's trying to do what I'm saying, make sure you make it open, because for some reason, if you were to get that hot enough and it was a closed loop, you turn that to steam, you're going to make a bomb. But I built one before, and it works. It'll be enough to heat the place. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And all the guys that emailed me, there's been a couple guys that emailed me. Chris, you emailed me about a muffler. I got you, buddy. Just give me some time. Maddie, I got you. And all the guys that are coming forward, taking a chance. Well, you're not really taking a chance with me, but I get it. I'm a new guy. You don't know who the hell I am. Who the hell is this guy? Who's he? I get it. But you got to start somewhere, right? But yeah, that's about it. I'm really dying to get into this 044, but it's late at night. It's probably after 11. I don't want to go firing it up, so I guess I'll just call it a night and hit the bricks and wake up in the morning and get this thing running. I have some firewood out there I got to cut up. This muffler's cherry. Let me see something here. Yeah, it's got the spark screen in there. You probably can't see this with this phone, but yeah, she's got the spark. So we'll get rid of the spark screen. And I'll do a little build with this. I'm going to use this as a work saw. For a buddy of mine. He's got an MS-291, and it just ain't cutting the mustard when you get into the bigger wood. So I'm paying him, and he might as well get some. I might as well get some production for what I'm paying, even though it's my saw. But yeah, I'm gonna do some work with this thing. I'm going to run through it, make sure it's good. I mean, there's a filter on here. It came with it. I don't know what the style is, but I don't. There's some foam or whatever here. This is kind of questionable. It's probably will work, but I'm gonna end up just putting one of these filters on here if they fit. I think I got a box of them. Yeah, back there I've got a bunch of filters, HD2s. So we'll throw a new filter on there. And I'm going to run it stock, get it tuned in. I'm going to take the screen out of the muffler, though. That, to me, we don't need that with where we're at. Some guys that are out in the forest, it requires it. I get it, but I'm in my backyard. There's snow. We're not starting a fire anywhere. And assuming I get her going good, we'll just do a couple tests. I'll save a big log. We'll make some cut stock. And then I'll do a tune muffler on this, either single or double tube. Maybe open up the deflector a little bit on that side, and we'll make some cuts with that and see what we gain. I mean, some of these 044s, you really it's almost like you don't even have to port them. I mean, it's going to help you get more air, but they really, if you get the right cylinder, they run. And then after I get that done, we'll take the velocity stack. I mean, I'm gonna eventually run with a velocity stack no matter what. I'm not gonna run with these filters. I'm gonna run with the velocity stack. So I could take one off the 064 or off the 660 just to try it out, but I am gonna have to make one up. So yeah, and then we'll try it with the K&N and the velocity stack. So we'll have stock, we'll have the muffler mod. And I can do a couple different muffler mods. I've got a couple of these saws coming in parts. A case, a cylinder, this and that. So I'll have some hard parts where I can play around, and we'll get what we can out of that. The intake's pretty much standard with the K&N. I'm just thinking with this saw, you know, you might get some surprising gains out of this from stock. It's just the way these things work. I mean, look at a straight shot here. You know, there's no straddle. Okay, that's pretty much a straight shot right into the carburetor. You know, you take this out of here, take this plastic cover off of here, put your machine velocity stack in it. I mean, you're gonna get some air, baby. And then another thing too is I'm gonna definitely change the spark plug, because there's no sense. So many people overlook their spark plug. It's like a pet peeve of mine. You wouldn't believe the difference that a brand new plug can make. There's a mating surface on there, and when you tighten it down, it squeezes. And that's not saying you can't take it off to check it and put it back on, but I've seen them leak. And I think we all have. I think we've all taken our plugs off, and you can see that there's oil. Well, it's leaking. It's barely leaking, but it's leaking. So we'll put a new plug in it, and we'll try it out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what these old saws do. So, all right, kids. So that's it for the night. I'm gonna hang it up and hit the bricks, and we'll hit the ground running tomorrow. Pew!